Just really proud of our kids and our seniors. And I told our seniors, this has been a really challenging year. The first month of the season was so disjointed, and they really became a group that I really enjoyed coaching the last 2 months. I didn't trust my football team the first month. I didn't trust them, and I told them after the Wyoming game, I said, I don't feel that way anymore. I really think we have a group of kids that are committed to one another, that are willing to sacrifice, and they're fun to be around every day. And we're at 59 scholarships. We're well below our competitive limit, and I just feel like we got a foundation that we had 26 quality football players to some of the kids that we have. And obviously, we got to replace some seniors that are leaving. We're going to be a different football team. And that's encouraging for me. So proud of our defense tonight. I was really happy they were able to get the shutout. It's hard to do. I don't care who you're playing against. You got to do a lot of things right. You got to play a lot of plays. You got to play a lot of situations, and you got to play assignment sound. And I just thought it was a really great job by Freddie Banks and our defensive staff, and our kids. Were very prideful this week. They wanted to play good defense, and they did. Was proud of Clay. Clay has done a good job making good decisions. And he threw again for a high percentage, made some big-time throws. The touchdown to Justice Ross Simmons was a big-time throw, and the out and up to Torrey was a big-time throw. So you got to give him credit. I think he tied or broke the school completion percentage record, and I think he's tied for the national record now with Bo Nix at 72%, and that's a pretty amazing compliment for a young kid that hasn't started before. So I think he's got something that we can build on. And we love to throw the football, and if 7 out of 10 times something good's going to happen, that's probably a good thing to build on. So the young receivers are getting better. Really proud. DeQuan Jackson got 100 tackles for the season, and his best season as a player, and so really proud of that. Torrey Horton had another outstanding game, and we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot to build on, and going into this off season, the big work, is really going to start. I mean, we could sign up to 40 kids here, and transfer portal opened up for SCS. I can't even tell you how many kids I watched this week, but a lot. And so next week, Thursday, it'll happen for the big schools, FBF schools, and it's going to be probably like nothing we've ever seen before. So I think there's 600 kids in the portal in about 4 or 5 days just from the lower levels, and I would imagine it'll be bigger than it's ever been for this next group. And so it's a lot of work to be done. We got a good recruiting class. We got another commitment last night. I think we're at 24. We love the kids that we got, but we'll probably sign, I don't know, probably another 20, 24, 25 kids, and so, or 16, I'm sorry. So, there's a lot of work to be done, and we'll hit the road running this next week.
Coach, how nice is it to end the season with the win and keep that morale up to end this season?
It's always good to win. It's always important to win your last game, no matter what your record is. It's always important because you leave with a good taste in your mouth. Everybody's got a little pep in their step, and you can kind of set the course for the off season. And we have to get this roster fixed. It's just we have to. I promise the players that we will have a locker room of players that are committed to CSU and that want to be here, that want to be part of this team, that want to sacrifice for their teammates. And I'm just telling you, it's harder to do that in this day and age. There's so many agendas that these kids have with these new rules, and everybody's in their ear about what's in it for you. And so we've got to really take our time and get kids that want to be here, that want to put that jersey on, and that want to work, And so, that's what we have to be diligent on, and we're the gatekeepers of that and putting the right players in that locker room. And I think we're at a spot finally where these kids believe in that, and now we have to build on that. And so that's the challenge. That's my job. My number one job is the roster as the head coach, is getting the right people in that locker room. And so we'll go to work on that. And quite frankly, that's what I enjoy as a coach. I love building the team, seeing the pieces come together, developing playmakers. It's been enjoyable, as hard as it's been to watch at times, to see the progress that some of our kids have made. So that's what we'll go to work on.
How much of your enthusiasm for next year is based off the growth you've seen out of your defense the second half of the season?
I just think we have good defensive players, and I think they've learned a lot. I think they're more comfortable, and we're really not losing, a lot of players. We lose a couple linebackers and CJ, and they're important players with a lot of experience. But I think the core of our defense, the depth that we have at the defensive line, the quality play we're getting at the safety position, Chiggy's got a chance to come back. Mo's got a chance to come back. It's going to be important that they come back. My biggest recruiting job is going to be those guys. Getting Mo Camara and Chiggy to come back next year, and so that's really important. But we got a core of really good players on defense that are coming back that played really well this year, and that's exciting. I got to say this. We've been part of the highest scoring teams in this league the last couple years. We play defense like this on most years, we're going to be really hard to beat. And so it's our job to get our offense going. We got to score consistently. We got to be big time playmakers, and we got to do a better job in pass protection, and we got to play consistently. We didn't play consistently on offense this year. And that's what makes me excited, because we got a lot of good offensive kids coming back that gained experience, and we got to have competition. You can't have a good team if you don't have competition, and we don't have competition right now. We don't have it on offense, and we don't really have it on many of our positions on defense except the D-line. Defensive line, we do have competition, but we got to get competition at safety, at linebacker, at all those other spots to really be a high-quality football team. And so that's our charge. That's what we got to do. And we got to build this roster and build depth and competition at every spot.
A lot of people look at playmakers as guys at what they do with the ball when it's in their hands. But the catches that Torrey and Justice Ross Simmons had for touchdowns, they had to fight for that ball. What does that tell you about the wide receiver core you're building? Well,
that's why we love big receivers. I mean, we have an accurate quarterback. He throws for 72%. We have big receivers. Those guys are really never covered. And if they can make 50-50 ball catches, now you start putting it hard, putting pressure on a defense. And, once we cross the 50-yard line, we're throwing for the end zone a lot of the times. And so that's what happens when you have big receivers. And so we got to add to that, one of the things with our young receivers, there's no disrespect to some of these high schools, but they were playing high school ball 6 months ago. They don't know how to practice. Justice Ross Simmons really doesn't have anybody behind him right now for the last half of the year. So, yeah, he's learning. He's getting better. He's playing games, but he needs somebody behind him that's going to push him in practice. It's going to make him better. If he doesn't have a great practice, he's going to get set on the bench. That'll make him a special player. And so that's what we're missing right now. Since late September, we haven't been able to practice like we normally do. We've had 6 receivers. We can't run can't run routes all day and have our guys throw. And so it's affected us, and we can't allow that to happen again. And so, we'll be better. But Torrey is a threat every time he goes on the field, and now Justice is becoming that, and his confidence is growing, and I think that's exciting.
Jay, 12 straight wins over New Mexico for CSU. Maybe if you're being cynical, you could say, what's the level of competition? But how hard is it to beat a division opponent 12 straight times?
I don't know. This is the first time I played him here at CSU, but it's hard to win any game. We're in charge of our football team and what we can accomplish, and really that's how we have to look at it. It's difficult to beat any team. Rocky's still over there calling defenses, and it's never easy to play against that. So, I think they're a challenge every time we play them, and I feel good at the end of the game when we have more points than they do. So,
You said Monday, the players kind of owe it to guys like Daquan, put in an honest effort this week and this game. Obviously, it looks like you saw it, and does that also give you optimism that he has kind of passed down sort of that leadership towards the guys to do it the right way?
yeah, sure. I think those kids respect Daquan. I mean, and he's earned that. And the rest of our seniors, I think the way that they conducted themselves, especially these last 2 months, has had an effect on the younger players, and it's got their attention. And I told them it was their responsibility to really to pay attention, to prepare properly, to be ready to play. So these guys could get a win in their last game, and so. We're making progress. It probably didn't show in our record, but these seniors did leave their mark on the younger players. And I've been a part of a lot of programs where our first year wasn't pretty, and so I can relate back to that and say, I'm proud of a lot of the progress that we made that didn't show up in our record. And I'm proud of the attitude that our players have and how hard they've worked for each other. And I know in the long run that's going to pay off.
You talked about the stats some with Clay. Where has he come the farthest in the last 2-3 months with this? And how has the pressure, the sacks, et cetera, took on it? Did you worry about that being arrested by the fact that hits?
Yeah, I've had quarterbacks that have played when they're young and then they get hurt, not seriously hurt, but hurt enough to miss games. And it really helps them. I think it helps them to step back and really observe and watch how things operate in their absence. And it happened to Clay. It happened to Carson Strong. It happened to Clay. He's a very, when you coach over the years, you get all kind of kids. You get kids that are loosey-goosey, or kids that are wound up. I mean, he used to throw up before every game. And when he came back, he didn't anymore. I know that's probably not the most kosher thing to say, but he didn't do it anymore. He was more calm. He's more relaxed. He's more controlled. And so I'm so proud of how he's handled himself. I think he's, there's a lot of pressure when you start playing, especially as a freshman. And a lot of the pressure and anxiety is just imagined. It's really things that aren't real. And so we try to calm them down and make sure that they're more relaxed. But I do think Clay's way more relaxed in there. I wish he would have got more yards on that throwback to the quarterback play. But no, he's having fun, and he's really pretty clear-minded in key moments of the game. He kind of saw the leverage on the out and up, and took advantage of that. And him and Torrey do a good job of communicating. And the other part of it is this: these kids will have we didn't have an off season with a lot of these freshmen. We're going to have a whole off season where they're going to throw 7-on-7 all January, February, March, April. and they'll be different kids when we get to play again. And that's where those guys really learn how to play, is in the off season. And so that's exciting. And Clay will be so much better than that. But I see a much more calmer, mature kid that really doesn't get as worked up about competition as he did earlier in the year.
With the season just ending, have you had time to reflect on it? And if so, what was the thought about that, your season just passed, kind of what you reflect on that?
I just think we had a tale of two seasons. I think our non-conference, we had a different team, you know. We took a team picture after this game. We don't usually do that. But one of the reasons we did is because it ain't the same team that we started the season with. And we wanted something to signify that. There's a lot of guys that aren't in that team picture today that were in August. And so it is what it is. You know, there's a lot of changes in college sports and college football. Some of it we can control, some of it we can't. But we'll do our best to work through it. But I think this is a very different football team. I've been proud. Ever since we walked off that field at Nevada, I've been proud of this team. And, you know, they fight. And that's all we can do sometimes. And so, you know, I think we can build on that.
Gray Davis mentioned earlier this week about just kind of the similarities between year one at Nevada, where he was redshirting, and now year one here at CSU, where he's kind of a big part of it. Do you see the similarities too? And do you see with this win that similarly you guys had in Nevada, that it can boost you into a big season?
I think it's absolutely true. And, you know, I don't know, we're not a quick fix outfit. I mean, if that's what you're looking for us, you ain't gonna get it from us. We're not quick fix. We're about personal accountability and behavior. That's what we do, personal accountability and behavior. You know, when I went to Wisconsin, we were 1-10 our first year. You know, I went to Nevada, we won 3 games, okay? So, I mean, this is about behavior. It's about how you treat people. It's about how you go about your business every day. And you don't see those results immediately a lot of times. It's a gradual change, but collectively we will change as a team. And the good thing about that is that lasts longer. And so, you know, we want a culture of behavior that is the proper behavior. And we want a work ethic that's lasting. And so I've experienced it many times, you know, and so I feel very confident that we're moving in the right direction. We just got to continue to add the right kind of kids, the right kind of players that want that type of. There's a lot of kids that don't, you know, in this day and age, and you know, we got to make sure that we have the right kids that fit in that and can add to the work that our kids are doing.
This is CSU's first shutout in 6 years. What's your message to people coming in and those that are staying about how to keep playing like you did today, even though your next game is 9-10 months away?
Yeah, I think we can be better. I really do. I think we can, you know, as good as we play defensively, I think we can be a lot better, and with more depth, and with another season of understanding, you know, and I think guys like Henry Blackburn and Jack Howell and Aiden Hector, you know, the more they're around Freddie Banks, they're really going to be able to take our defense to the field and be like coaches on the field. And I think that's exciting. You know, we have some young freshman defensive ends. We can't block them on scout team. They're really talented. And I'm excited that those kids get a chance to play next year. And so we should have some very talented pass rushers next year. And that's exciting. And to add with more depth in the secondary and more speed and athleticism at linebacker, I think we have a chance to be a much better defense.
Jay, do you need depth on that offensive line too?
Yes.
Competition?
Yes. Right now we have seniors and we have freshmen. And so that is probably our single most important area that we have to add depth to. And we'll probably look to bring in 2 or 3 older kids and then a number of young, big athletic kids. at the offensive line. And so, and that's an area that it's really, really difficult to build quickly because they have to get in the weight room, they have to get stronger. And we love our freshmen. You know, Keegan Hamilton has been such a surprise. Aaron Karras has done a good job. The freshmen that, you know, we've had to elevate have done a good job. And I think we can build with those kids.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, guys.